Diving into an album today that I have never heard. We're getting to a point where the letters are kind of difficult to find records for. I was always kind of like eyeing up this letter and like, who the hell am I going to cover for the X episode? I had to do some research and I came across this band that released an album in, I think, 2014. Pretty solid, pretty fun, pretty enjoyable, pretty hardcore. And apparently it has some roots to AFI. I didn't know this until later. I'm talking about a band called XTRMST. And you're listening to P is for Punk, and today X is for Extremist. So XTRMST, a band that was a side project of Davey Havok and his fellow bandmates. What was his name? His last name is like Puget. Puget? Oui. It's something fancy dancy like that. It is, I would say, a straight edge hardcore band. So Davey Havok is the lead vocalist on this one. Jade Puget is the guitarist, and they were kind of drawn to this straight edge lifestyle and music scene as teenagers. Now, I am not a huge straight edge music guy. I'm not against people being straight edge. Don't get me wrong. I understand drugs are bad. I understand people don't like to drink. I understand all that kind of stuff. I get it. And there's been a lot of influential straight edge bands out there. Minor Threat, H2O, all that kind of stuff. And they're fine. They have their place in the community. I get it. Me, myself, of course, I am a Wisconsin citizen. I love me a good beer. I love me a good bourbon. So I do drink. I'm not like a raging alcoholic by any means, but so yeah, I get it. And I just feel like sometimes it gets a little too pushy, but I guess a lot of the music that I listen to could be considered a little pushy, especially when you're listening to like a politically fueled band. You know, if you agree with it, you're going to love it. But if you don't agree with it, you're probably not going to dig it. I did like this record, though. It was good, and it was a pretty cool surprise that I found as I started like going through it. So XTRMST, it's it's very different than AFI. Also, I will preface this: I am not the world's biggest AFI fan. I like Sing the Sorrow. I like All Hallows EVP. I like all that, or All Hallows EP, whatever it is. Their early stuff, it's more punk driven. Davey Havok has definitely been in the punk scene for quite some time. So I'm not going to poo-poo him. He's a talented dude. I didn't really like a lot of the AFI records that were released later or after Sing the Sorrow, but I haven't listened to them all. I have not listened to the new one at all. When I tried to listen to some of their new stuff, it just wasn't for me. And I think I'm in the minority on that. A lot of people love AFI, and that's great. That's great. But I was pleasantly surprised to see that they did a little bit of a side hustle, a little side project, having this hardcore vibe with it. And yeah, it does have songs that are straight edge in their beliefs, and we'll talk about that. But I did like this record. I will say that. I didn't know, like I said before, that Davey Havok was in this band when I first started listening to it. And then I always go on, try to reach out to bands on Instagram. Usually when I cover a record, I always give it the old college try of, hey, let's see if I can get one of these people in the band to at least hop on the show and talk about it, because they're the ones who were there for the process. They wrote the songs. They know the meanings kind of behind it. So it's really better to hear it from them than it is from some bozo like me, and kind of just me making assumptions about what the song meanings could be about, because I'm probably wrong on a lot of those. But then as soon as I looked at their Instagram, I was like, oh, they haven't been active since 2015, so they're probably not going around. Then all of a sudden I'm like, is that Davey Havok? And sure enough, it was. And then when I went back to listen to the songs, I was like, oh, of course it is. I think at one point when I was listening to it the first time around, I was like, this kind of sounds like him, but I wasn't sure, and I didn't know. But there we go. There it is. Hardcore, straight edge, good music. It's from what did I say, 2014, 14 songs, 31 minutes long, came out on Dim Mak Inc. under exclusive rights from Black Noise, which I actually think was Steve Aoki's record label. I could be wrong on that one, but that's kind of what this is. You get some relentless energy, you get some pretty sweet guitar riffs, and you get a very harsher, more angry Davey Havok, which I do dig. It opens with the song Words of the Unwanted. It has like little bursts of music coming into it, and then it has this like guitar riff that instantly reminded me of Dead Kennedys. It has like that distortion on it, that little like twang to it. It's pretty cool. I was really into it, and then all of a sudden you just get slapped in the face with Davey Havok coming in and just screaming at you, which is kind of nice. I do like Davey Havok's screams. It is good. It's just this dissonant riffs, and it really sets a good pulse for what you can expect across the record. It's a good way to bring you in. It doesn't have like this long intro to it. It's just right there. You get the riff, you get the screaming, and it's going. It's got the breakdowns in there, all that stuff that you need in that hardcore ilk. And I think overall, this is kind of like a statement of saying, we are who we are. We're not going to compromise who we are. And that's good. That makes sense. You shouldn't compromise who you are. You should embrace who you are. Even if you're a straight edge person. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I have friends who are sober, and I appreciate that they're sober. I'm happy that they're sober. But I think even if you're straight edge, like, you can't drink caffeine. Like, if you're a true straight edge, you're not drinking caffeine, which, you know, I've cut back drastically on caffeine in my life, but I still have it from time to time. But yeah, Words of the Unwanted, a great way to kick the record off, and really gives you that hardcore energy that you might have been missing back in the day. In 2014, I'm trying to think, I was 24 years old. I don't really know what was going on in the scene. It's so long ago. It's 12 years ago. I think it was going okay. I think there was still a hardcore energy out there, right? Maybe. Goes into the second track called Conformist, which is a pretty, like, I guess, defining song, especially in the world of like straight edge. It has a little bit of a spoken words in it. He's Havok saying, you think you're so wild. You get this scattered guitar across the board. And then it says, like, you are a conformist. It's blending the spoken word with the screaming on it, which I guess maybe might be common in hardcore. Like, again, I mean, anytime like I get spoken word stuff that's mixed in with music and screaming and stuff, I think of Henry Rollins. And I don't know why, but that's just what I've grown accustomed to, I guess, is like, oh, they're doing the old Rollins. Jesus Christ, I'm like sound like Porky Pig. Abadia, that's all, folks. But that's just kind of what I get. But you get the full song almost feels like a breakdown. Like, the whole thing is just a little bit of a breakdown. It's got some gang vocals on there. It's maybe a little more catchy than some songs, you could say, but it's pretty cool. Conformist, rejecting this like group thought process and refusing to sacrifice your identity simply to fit in. Okay, that makes sense. It kind of goes once again with the first song saying we're not going to compromise who we are. We're not going to conform and change our identity just because the scene is full of drunken buffoons who do drugs and all that kind of stuff, which I can appreciate and I can understand. There's a world, there's a place for everybody in the world of punk, and it's okay if you do this or if you do that. As long as you're there and enjoying music and having fun, that's what it's about. Song number 3, Social Death Play. You get some real heavy drums and this chaotic kind of guitar sound with, again, some quick riffs in there. These aren't riffs that are going on for 30 seconds or more. It's quick. It almost seems like 5-10 second long riffs. And then it has this urgent pace to it. You have Havok screaming like, I am the antisocial. I am the antisocial, which is pretty cool. I do like this song quite a bit. It's a shorter song. It has this pace that's just chaotic and urgent, like I said. And it's kind of talking about people who perform versions of themselves for acceptance while losing their authenticity. Again, you got 3 songs in a row that are kind of in the same ilk, kind of about the same thing. And I think that's really what straight edge is kind of about for the most part. Again, and I'll be honest, I haven't listened to like a shit ton of Minor Threat. I've listened to more H2O probably than I have Minor Threat. And I know those are pretty big straight edge bands, but, a lot of those songs kind of have that thing. Like, we're not going to change who we are. This is the life that we live. This is the life that I've chosen and that I live. And I feel strongly about that. So 3 in a row, you get that. It's said in different ways, said in different tones, different paces, but still in a meaningful way. The 4th song on the track is called Merciless. And this is like where it kind of clicked. Oh, this might be a Davey Havok. I can tell this is Davey Havok. Even though in the spoken word thing, I would have thought I would have been smart enough to be like, this is Davey Havok, but no, I wasn't smart enough. Like I said before, I'm a big buffoon. I'm a dancing clown. You get a little more cleaner vocal on this one at certain parts, not throughout the whole song. You still get the screaming. You get this blend of cleaner, softer, and then screaming, which is cool. It's a pretty heavy song. Kind of has like this thick guitar tone to it, if that makes sense. And Merciless, he says like, I will attack with no mercy. That's one of like the standout lines in that one. Confronting destructive behavior without excuses or compromise. Sometimes you need to do that. And I think a lot of us could take that mentality or that approach to a lot of things in life is, yeah, we need to confront this, whether it's with ourselves, with somebody we love, or somebody at work or whatever it may be. Don't compromise that and tell people, hey, chill out a little bit. Take a chill pill, dog. It's going to be okay. A lot of these songs are also relatively short. These aren't 8-minute bangers that are just going wild and crazy. Merciless is a little over 2 minutes long, and that's kind of the vibe that you get. You're getting quick 1-2 punches. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to trim the fat, and I'm going to give this to you, which I appreciate. Sometimes it might leave you wanting a little bit more, but in a good way, because the song is so good. You're like, oh man, I wish this was longer so I could enjoy it, but you can always just hit back and restart from the beginning. So that's a good approach as well. Song number 5, Exterminate. It has this soft music with spoken words to it. He's saying, I am the extremist. Sorry, oh shit. Let's backtrack a little bit. I am a couple songs ahead. Exterminate. Different vibes here. You have this metalcore and hardcore blend a little bit. You get this like sludgy guitar sounds a little bit across the board, and then it picks up the pace and brings back this kind of old school hardcore vibe to it, which I really liked. I really did enjoy this one. You get the gang vocals on there a little bit. When you think of Exterminate, you're thinking like, oh, we're going to go kick some ass and get rid of this or get rid of that. But it's really about like violence more so than like eliminating your toxic ideas, habits, or ways of life that people seem to get trapped in. People seem to keep repeating and following that same routine because maybe it's comfort, maybe it's just all they know and they don't know how to advance in any way, but it's really kind of like reflective in that. Let's get rid of these ideas. Let's exterminate the systems that are putting people in a place to, I guess, be trapped here, if that makes sense. Sharper is the next one. Get this little guitar intro with some good dissonance. It's got some fast riffs in there. The vocals kick in. You get more of the clean vocals, spoken word. It builds up to the screaming, and they're saying like, "We are the new edge." I think this kind of makes a lot of sense, and we can kind of make an assumption. This is mental clarity through discipline of being straight edge rather than being intoxicated by distraction or intoxicated by stimulants, drugs, alcohol, all that kind of stuff. At least that's what I kind of get out of it. You could say it's being disciplined in your mind and trying to think more clearly and not being influenced by what other people are saying, which I feel like would also fall in line with the themes that we've seen so far across this entire album. So maybe there's a little double way of looking at this when it says we are the new edge. I don't know. To me, instantly, I was just like, all right, this is a straight edge anthem. We're talking about a different approach to straight edge. Maybe it is that. It's not only are we cutting ourselves from drugs and all that kind of stuff, but maybe we're cutting ourselves from other things that could be addicting or could be a distraction to becoming a better person and having that clarity of life and becoming sharper. Look at that. It's mentally sharper, physically sharper. Who knows? I don't know, because Davey Havok isn't here to talk about it. And neither is that other dude, which is fine. I think other people did join the band. I don't think they went on any like extensive tours or anything like that. They put out some singles prior to releasing this record. And then they just, they did the stuff, they did the things, and yeah. And that was about it from what I found. So, hey, that's cool. They also took the old school way of, or like the not old school, but the newfangled way of spelling things out, like how Reviver, there's no like certain, there's no vowels. Extremists is XTRMST. They're badasses. Yes. Yes, indeed. Now we get to Extremists, spelled the correct way by fact, I guess. I don't know why they would spell it correctly this way, but then their band name, they don't. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Again, old Davey Dave, not around to talk about it. But Extremist, I like this song quite a bit. Soft music with spoken words. He's saying things like, I am the extremist and we are at war. And then when you hear war, that's when the screaming starts. It's war is in your face, adding that emphasis to that sound, to that word, and adding emphasis in the sound altogether. And then it goes back to this quiet sound with only war getting screamed at you. I kind of like the back and forth a little bit, quiet to loud, and it's quick. It's not a gradual increase. It's quiet, and then it's in your face, and then it's quiet again. Definitely, I think one of the more dynamic songs on the record would kind of be my take on this. It's got some gang vocals on there. You could say this is the title track, but it's spelled differently. So I don't really know about that. I think it's reclaiming the word extremist a little bit. Commitment to healthy principles is often labeled as extreme simply because it challenges social norms. I think Havok had said something along those lines when it came to this. So this is kind of like the mission statement. Again, this is about living a clean life with mental clarity and not pumping your body full of junk and your mind full of junk too. So there you go. I guess I could see why you would be considered an extremist. What do you mean you don't do this or don't do that? You don't do what everybody else does, what 90% of the population does? Oh, that's extreme, man. You're wild. You're crazy. But actually, I can guarantee you Davey Havok is a lot healthier than I am. The dude is shredded, or at least he used to be. He lifts weights. He does all that kind of stuff. Now he's got this like hipster Bob Ross, but he's still shredded kind of look. It's wild and crazy. He did the blackout tattoos, which I'll never understand. People are covering up all this awesome tattoo artwork with just blackout stuff. Why? Why are you doing that? If you have a blackout tattoo, please tell me and tell me like the thought process behind it. I can understand like covering up because maybe it's just easier than paying a ton of money to get it removed or to do like other cover-ups, but like I just don't get it. But Davey Havok's got it. So do a lot of other people. It's like the new age tribal almost, from my view. And I could be wrong on that. I don't know. Anyways, we're moving on. Good song, Extremist. Definitely dynamic. Definitely makes you think a little bit about how you live your life. I mean, really, I was just like, after listening to this and looking, I'm like, oh, I'm a fat slob that drinks and eats like shit all the time. Maybe I need to change my life a little bit and get back into a healthier lifestyle. And then I ate a banana. So that's what I did. Next song is called The Breed, which is kind of back to this usual format that we've gotten across the record. It's another great guitar riff is thrown on there. It's this old school hardcore pacing, kind of a rhythmic type of vibe, a different groove if you could say that. A lot different than Extremist. Celebrating people who refuse to follow destructive trends and instead building their own communities. All right. I guess that could be that. All these are pretty similar. But I would argue, like, I understand if you don't want to follow a destructive trend, that's cool. And if you want to build your own community because you want to be with more people that are going to support you in that's great too. If your current friends aren't supporting the lifestyle that you are living right now, they're not your friends. They're a bunch of jackasses and they never were your friends. And like, if you only hang out with people to go get plastered or whatever, those probably aren't people that you want to hang out with all the time anyways. And they were never going to be supportive of you. So I'm all for building a new community and building a new circle of people that you can care about and people that you can support and they can support you. But really, like, I wouldn't just say like, oh, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to live this way. And now I'm just going to shed everybody who doesn't follow that and build my own thing. But it says destructive trends. So I guess I get it. I get it to a degree. But yeah, if my friend comes up to me and goes, yeah, I stopped drinking because it's bad for my health and I'm living a healthy, good. I'm proud of you. Keep going. Keep doing that. And I'm going to be their friend. But on the flip side, if I say that and someone goes, oh, you're a loser and I think you suck now, they were never your friend to begin with. And yes, go build. So, okay, I get it now. I talked myself through it. Yes, celebrate people who refuse to follow destructive trends and destructive people. Inform your own thing. Okay, I'm with you, Davey. Number 9 is called Humanity. Has a little bit of like this disjointed guitar and has more of a yelly vocal. So there's screaming, there's spoken word, there's softer vocals, and then there's this yelly vocal. If that kind of makes sense to you, I hope it does. But he's saying, I'm sick of this side of humanity. I mean, aren't we all sick of this side of humanity to a degree? I think we probably are. Whether we're talking about society, consumerism, violence in the streets, people getting shot dead, and people just only focusing on self-interest, I guess. Like, I don't know, dude. It just I'm sick of it too. I am. We see wild shit happening all the time, and I think as a whole there is no such thing as empathy anymore. There's people who have empathy, but as a society, most don't. Most people look at the negative side of things. Like, a person gets killed in the streets and they go, oh yeah, that person deserved it. Bad person, committed some crimes, did this, committed some, not like, they deserved it. No, they don't. They really don't. Definitely more reflective on the record and kind of addressing the world as a whole rather than kind of keeping the straight edge themes going here, which I like. I do like that one. The Way coming after that song, and again, it has your kind of similar hardcore format. It's got your driving riffs. It has a fast chorus, and it's got the old like 1-2 punch on there, which is which is fun, which is good. It's less than 2 minutes long. And talking about finding meaning within yourself for yourself instead of waiting for other people to define it. Less taking what people say to give you a definition of who you are. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to look inside and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. A lot of times other people are going to tell you what they think about you. And if it's positive things, that's great. Hopefully that makes you feel good. And if it's negative things and you hear it enough, you're going to start believing that at a certain point. So you kind of have to find your own way, your own moral compass through your interactions and your thoughts and your reflectiveness of yourself. So do that rather than define who you are based on what somebody else thinks, which is, I think, a healthy way to live life. Again, another category in the healthy column, which is nice, right? People like that. Dirty Nails. I'm really skipping a lot of songs here. I'm sorry. So we just talked about the way. Now we're going to Swallow Your God. This is a little more, you get a little sing-song between the screams and the vocals on here. It's dark, it's chaotic, similar to what you're getting across the rest of the album. Not a blanket, not like a blatant attack on religion, so much as like a rejection of just blindly following something because maybe that's something you've always done. Maybe that's how you were raised. There's some institutional hypocrisy in a lot of different things. And I think it could be the same thing with religion. It could be the same thing with politics. It could be the same thing on a lot of different ways. A lot of times, when you're growing up, your parents say one thing, and you lean on that a little bit. You trust that they're doing the right thing. And over time, you might shift away from that. You might get your own opinions. And I hope you do get your own opinions and you start to think a little bit more. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in a lot of things. Me personally, I'm not a religion dude in the slightest. If you want to talk to me about it and, face to face or something off air, I'll talk to you about it, but I'm kind of with it on this one. I question a lot of things when it comes to authority and religion. I've given it the old college try. I really have. And I just, I can't seem to agree or get behind it. So again, it's reflective, and it's not just saying like you're stupid if you're religious or anything like that. It's just, you shouldn't blindly follow something just because somebody else you care about does. You got to look into things yourself. You have to come to your own conclusions based on your moral compass. You shouldn't go and conform to something just because your significant other does that. You shouldn't conform to something because your mom or dad would be disappointed if you didn't. You're allowed to be your own individual, your own self. So you should do that. And if they truly are these people who are kind and following, the word of whatever religion that they're following, then they should accept you. But not always the case. All right, we're moving on. Dirty Nails is number 12. It is some kind of like muted instrumentals with the vocals being more of a focus at times. It's got a good guitar tone. It has some bigness to it. Talking about, again, being authentic. It's celebrating this honest work over how you look, how you're perceived by the masses or the communities or any like other, superficial success by the things that you have, by the way you dress and all that kind of stuff, your popularity. If you're like working hard to better yourself, working hard to do something greater than you, I think that's what this is kind of celebrating that. You can have an image, like you can have a status and all that kind of stuff, but it honestly, like, if you're chasing an image or chasing status rather than being authentic, that's where the problem is. And that's across this whole record. That's what they've been talking about. So we see that once again with Dirty Nails. Juliet's, you have this like marching drum sound to kind of kick off the song. It's just like, it feels like very rhythmic, very marching kind of stuff. It's not as frantic as other songs on this record. They alternate between soft vocals and screaming. Does that a couple of times across this record as well. But then it pauses and then it just kicks in. But overall, a slower paced song. Maybe a little more melodic than what you see across this record. And it's talking about exploitation, abuse, violence, and being empathetic, but also being angry about the injustices that are happening at this time in 2014, which we continue to see today, 12 years later, which is unfortunate. I don't know how much has changed in a lot of these themes, which is, I don't know, a total bummer to be honest. Final song on the album is Coward Bow Your Head, which I think was a bonus track to some regards, but we'll throw it on here. Keeps that formula that we see across the full record. Does have like that slow then quick kind of thing to it on there. But one last little hurrah or little hey to those condemning those who abuse power and prey on others while hiding blindly or hiding behind authority blindly. All right. We get it there. Davey Havok giving you some anger, some loud yelling. It's fun. It's good. Got that hardcore vibe that I think we knew he had, but we don't often see in the world of AFI, which is good. I don't really think they've done anything after this, and it's a fun side project, and I think it shows the importance of side projects, especially in the world of punk, doing something a little different than what you're mostly known for, and showing the people your range, showing people that you can still kick ass and still have something great and kind of get your message across in a different capacity. Some of the best bands that have ever existed are side projects, which is awesome. I don't want side projects to ever go away. At times, I'm more interested in side projects than I am with somebody's main band or main focus. You look at somebody like Chuck Ragan, who was his solo records are amazing. A completely different sound. It's got this country and folk sound to it. Way different than Hot Water Music. AFI, you have they've kind of gone through a wide range of what they sound like, but none of it is like XTRMST. You look at Frank Turner, who's known for kind of like some punk, folky kind of acoustic sounds. He's been in a million other bands and has been in hardcore bands himself. So it's cool to see other sides of some of your favorite musicians, and I appreciate that deeply. So I do appreciate XTRMST. I like XTRMST. Will I go back and listen to this record? Probably not, but you never know. It could pop up in the algorithm a little bit and be like, oh yeah, let's listen to this again. It's good. It's a good record, and I appreciate it. And the album artwork is this black cover with like a chalk or scratch like symbol. I don't know what the symbol is. It has an X with a little triangle and a line coming down it. A triangle and a Y almost. I don't know what that means. Maybe XTRMST. It could be the X and a T. I really don't know. But that would be my guess. The X and the T for XTRMST. A good record. A good thing. Go listen to it. Why don't you? X is for XTRMST. Sorry it was a little bit late this week. Life gets in the way sometime. Next week, we do have a guest, which I am excited about. And we're talking about a fun record that's super enjoyable. So be on the lookout for that. We're almost at the end of the alphabet. And I think after that, I'm going to try, well, we'll see if I keep with the letter format, but I'm going to try to get some other people to just talk about some records that I enjoy and get that. So we'll see how it goes. We got to get there first. Appreciate you all listening to me and doing that. If you want to support the show and pick up some merch, there's a couple things that are available on my link tree, linktr.ee/P is for punk. You can find all the stuff on there. Follow me and all that mumbo jumbo on the link tree. All right. Keep it real, homies. Appreciate you. And we'll see you soon.